What is up, guys? Well, you heard correctly. Ford has increased the pricing of the Ford F-150 Lightning yet again. So today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the latest wave of ordering and some interesting things, some things that I were chalking up to rumors that actually happened. We're going to talk about that a little bit and just overall the state of buying an F-150 Lightning. So if you're new on board and you've been scoping one out, there's a couple interesting things that we should talk about. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'll be referencing my phone for this video just because I have the pricing page up here and I want to read off of it, and I don't know, I'll take screenshots so you know what I'm looking at. But let's start with the Pro here. Now this had a very noticeable price increase. This could be a false memory, but I swear I remember checking this out and seeing that it went from 53K back down to 50K. But I must have, I don't know. If you saw that too, let me know. I should have taken a screenshot or something, but maybe it was a weird dream. Anyway, as it stands today, we were at $55,947, almost $56,000 for the once. And here's why this is news, right? Remember, obviously you remember, but this was once $40,000. There are some lucky souls out there who got this for $40,000. Just stock as is, of course. You add a little bit more and the price goes way up, which I'm going to show you in a second. But wow, $56K now. That's $3K more than the XLT was upon launch date. What's crazy too is if we went back and watched some of my videos, I bet I was upset about XLT and Lariat pricing then. If only I could see into the future. It's also crazy too to think about the lucky sons of guns who have a Pro at last year's price, who now could just sell it for MSRP and literally make 15K, and there's nothing shady about it. They're just selling at MSRP for like a slightly used vehicle. Like, congrats. I mean, there's nothing else to say, but you guys lucked out for getting to order. You know, that's the whole other piece of this that we shouldn't even talk about today. But, you know, the only thing that has kept people from buying those cheaper ones was the fact that they just weren't invited to order it. Everyone, even, again, I'll say this a million times, first day, like hour one reservation holders who said, yes, I want this truck, haven't had a chance even to make an order. And yet now they're going to get a chance, and well, one, the Pro's not even available, but two, you know, it's what I just said, 16K over. I'm rambling here. Let's get back on top. All right. Sorry. So we're talking about the Pro here. It's now, let's do the math here. What is it? Technically after the tax credit, it's going to go down to 48.5, 49-ish, whatever. Even that price seems like a lot, because that's still 10K more than, it's like all ingrained in our heads now. Like the value for the vehicle still is okay, right? Like even 55K for a, 220 mile range electric vehicle in general, let alone a truck, it still says a lot. But with the 15K price increase, sprinkle in some freebies, justify it with something, right? So I'm going to click start my build here and scroll all the way down to, because everyone knows, if you've been watching this, even when you get a Pro, because it has the smaller battery and all that, you do want to add on the tow technology package. Yeah, that includes the extra heating or cooling rather. And even in this description, they're still saying the onboard scales and smart hitch is still not included on that. Yet they're raising the price. That part rubs me the wrong way a little, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, you'd probably want to add that on, and then I would add that package on because it does include the 360-degree camera, especially if you're new to a truck, you want that on there. So let's just say you add just that on. Your out the door price now, $61,000. Take a screenshot right there so we don't forget. $61K now for what once was $46,000. Obviously still just a 15K increase, but it's just so crazy to me because that was like the starting price of the base Lariat at one point, and now we're talking like a one package add-on on the Pro. Wild stuff, guys. Moving right along, because why dwell on the Pro? Only just because I think that's what's, hurt so many souls, why so many people have backed out on the reservation, just because they haven't had a chance to even order this Pro that they wanted. And if they did get a chance, now it's nowhere near the price that they thought it would be. So if we look at the XLT, let's look at that. This is especially interesting. Here's where the news is. Someone reached out to me and said that they got to order and the XLT was available. Wow, that's kind of wild. I wasn't expecting to hear that. Especially if you remember, if you're following me, when I was called to order, I could just get a base Lariat or higher. I went with the Lariat. I maybe had a couple add-ons there, but the standard range one. And I wanted the XLT. Obviously, I wanted to spend a little less, but I got the Lariat. So I might even try to follow up to see if I can... Granted, I still don't even have a production date, and that was in, I think, September or earlier. So, obviously mine is nowhere near being built. I'm just sitting here in limbo. Maybe I can get down to an XLT, and because I've been a little bit on the fence, like, am I spending all this money? Yada, yada, yada. Maybe I can get bumped down to a Lariat now. I would appreciate that. Save me, $10K. But even at that, it's still pretty expensive coming in now. I believe it bumped up $2,000. Double check me on that. But yes, 63.5 it's now at. You can save $500 by taking the charger off your list, which costs $500. Man, we've been through a roller coaster, haven't we, folks? But with the tax credit here, it does come down to around 55. That's pretty reasonable. That seems pretty great, actually, because the original price for this started at $52K. This one, the stock one, comes with some of the stuff we talked about on the Pro. It's almost a no-brainer. And that's part of why I think maybe they bumped up the price of the Pro. You don't feel like you're missing out on it anymore. At least I don't, because it's just $2K more. When you look at that tow package I had, which I believe comes... at least some of those features come standard on the base XLT, and it's only $2K more to go up. You get the full light bar. It looks a little bit better. You don't have the vinyl seats. You get the cloth seats. It's kind of a middle ground. It's like, even if you could order the Pro now, you're really only going to save like $1,000 or $2,000. So you might as well just go with the XLT, which seems like is now available, which is crazy. I'm glad they're doing it. Obviously, it's been... I would go as far as to say unfair that nothing below a $75,000 version of this vehicle was able to order. So now that you can get this $63,000 one, hey, it's better than nothing. So let's take it and let's run with it. And I know I'm going to reach out to see if I can get one. I would. I think that might be my deciding factor even. I'll share this in a later video, but I bought a Tesla. I missed, after reviewing a Lightning, I missed an electric car so much that I went on, long story short, I traded my truck in for a Tesla. Mostly also just because my truck is nowhere even close to being built. Yada, yada, yada. Maybe I can get an XLT, then I'll continue to get a Lightning. If I can't, I might be backing out. Who knows? We'll talk about that later. I don't believe they touched the Lariat price. I'll double check that. But I think the reason they can't is because it already is towing the line of the new tax credit cutoff, which if you add like any of the packages, you're going to go over even on the base Lariat and not claim your $7,500 tax credit. And then, as you know, in like 15 days, the Platinum won't be able to get one, and then none of the extended range batteries are going to be able to claim the tax credit. I've also had a couple requests to do an update on how that tax credit works, so stay tuned, stay subscribed if you are interested in learning more about that. So yeah, that's the most part, but that's basically it. So I just wanted to get kind of I'm venting to you guys a little bit here, but I'm sure a lot of you are in my same situation or have gone through something similar. If I knew putting in my reservation this kind of like, I keep calling it a roller coaster, but this roller coaster that I would have been through, I might have thought twice, that's for sure. Because it seems like, especially if you want a Lariat right now, it's like everyone has them in stock, which is crazy, at MSRP. Like if you don't mind driving out of state or something, like at the most you'd have to drive out of state, but they're available. they're available and they're not being marked up anymore. In the non-zero emission states, Michigan in particular, where I live, I am seeing them still marked up a bit. But I've seen plenty that are within driving distance that I could go pick up tomorrow. So that's another reason why I'm like, what's so special about my order right now? And honestly, that part scares me a little. Like when they're being marked up and everyone wants them, it feels like almost a smart thing to buy, because at the very least, if you hate the truck, you're not going to be out anything because you could sell it for what you paid for it. And it seems like it might be kind of teeter-tottering in value. So me, as someone who's owned 5 vehicles in the last year, man, that hurts to say that out loud. I might have a problem. I'm a serial car trader. I can't say flipper because I'm not necessarily making money on this. But I do like trying out a lot of vehicles. So that said, I'm like, man, I don't want to have to buy this and then eat, who knows, maybe even like 10K or something. That would suck if I want to trade to the Silverado soon or whatever the next thing I want to drive. So that has me wavering where I'd feel safer at something like a, $50,000 or $60,000 vehicle. That's maybe only going to lose, 2 or 3 grand or whatever. I don't know, guys. I'd love to hear where you're at. Especially if you were able to order just now and you got your XLT. Let me know what you got. Let me know if you heard anything on like how long it's going to be. Is it going to be a huge wait? I do know that the Pros are not coming back in stock for the 2023 model year, so bridging into next year. But when things end, I'll have this on the screen, but August 31st is when all wave ordering ends for the 2023 year. There's probably a little bit of a changeover gap, but then November of next year, who knows what's going to happen. There's probably going to be another price, hopefully not increase, but a settling, probably open to the general public, not just reservation holders, and Pro might be available then. So if you're a diehard and you want to hold on strong, do that. But my gut also says, hey, if you've been holding on this long and you get a chance to order, that XLT, again, is only about 2K, 3K more than probably what your Pro would cost now. So who knows? I don't. But I appreciate you guys who watch these videos. You're the best. I'm going to end it here. Thank you again. I know I just said that twice, but I mean it. Okay. New sponsor alert. So before we get into this video, I do want to talk about my new friends at Liquid IV. As you can see, I've already opened and tried almost everything here. They reached out the other day and said, hey, would you like to try these and maybe put them in your video? And I was like, yeah, I do. So I was pretty excited for them to reach out, and I was like, technically they have nothing to do with the electric vehicles and stuff I talk about, but I'm really into like mountain biking, and it's great for after physical activity. I'd say there's a script and stuff probably that I'm supposed to read, but I'd rather just tell you my experience with it. Basically, I like how it tastes mostly, and it could even be in my head, but whatever it is, it's just like I feel better after having them. So I'm actually a big fan even before they reached out, and now they are, I'm talking about them in a video. So yeah, Liquid IV, if you haven't had it yet, give it a try. Acai berry, acai bowls, right? Acai berries. That one is pretty good. My wife likes that one. Classic lemon lime. That's my favorite, to be honest. It tastes like super Gatorade. These are also a new favorite. These are, what's their thing? Immune support. Basically same stuff. Their whole thing is like you drink one and it's like having 3 bottles of water instead of 1. And I'm like, sure, why not? I will say if you have a heavy night of drinking, that's probably where these things, no, I'm not condoning that, but if you ever find yourself, maybe you're going to a bachelor party or something, that's where these things are clutch. You're gonna want to like pick up 2 or 3 of these and hand them out to the boys in the morning and be like, I got you, because I truly have seen the most effect from them there more than anything else. Anecdotally, of course. So I really like these ones. These are like a new called Energy Multiplier. 100 milligrams of caffeine. Can't complain about that if you want a little bit of both worlds. But, I'm just going to give you my fully honest opinion here. This was ginger lime. And I was like, I love ginger and I love lime and I love them together. But this, honestly, I would just avoid this. At least straight up. I don't really like it that much. It's matcha is the main thing. And I'm not a big matcha man. I'm not a matcha. Never mind. So stupid. It's just kind of like a plant taste to me. But if you're into that, give it a try. These ones, though, boom. Anything citrusy I really like. Anyways, that's all I'm going to talk about here. If you want it, use my code. If not, no sweat. But Liquid IV, it's here now.